Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. So as the RNC kicks off, there are a lot of questions about what Secret Service did or didn't do on Saturday at that rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. One of the questions, and by the way, Jim Comer, House Oversight Committee, has invited the director of the Secret Service to testify before his committee a week from today. A lot of questions, a lot of calls for her to resign already. Was perhaps not Secret Service's finest moment, not just with what happened, but the imagery around what happened, both after they whisked Trump off stage and as they're trying to get him in the car and out of the rally area to the hospital to get checked out.
Yeah, why did they go around the right side? They should have gone around the left side where there was no people. Well, there's so many things they did that bothered me.
Well, one of the questions and assertions that is being bandied about, which I think is not without merit, is with the Secret Service, we have another federal agency that has focused on identity over ability, and thus another federal agency that failed America. This was a CBS report on the Secret Service from last year. By the way, they've had a number of missteps over the last few years, high-profile embarrassments, none as bad as what happened on Saturday, obviously. But this is what the Secret Service was focused on, according to said director Kimberly.
To expand hiring, they're aiming to have 30% women recruits by 2030, and even allowed YouTube influencer Michelle Carre to train with agents.
But I'm very conscious as I sit in this chair now of making sure that we need to attract diverse candidates and ensure that we are developing and giving opportunities to everybody in our workforce, and particularly women.
That workforce will be pivotal for the 2024 campaign season, which for the first time includes a former president who already has lifetime protection. Agents were there when Donald Trump was arraigned in New York.
We were able to work out the details ahead of time of how that particular day was going to go, but we will always ensure the safety of all of our protectees that we have.
The service has a zero-fail mission, a mission officers are training to uphold.
Yeah, well, that workforce failed a stress test on Saturday, didn't it? For more on this and related activities and festivities this week in Milwaukee, we're pleased to be joined by Tommy Piggott, who's the Director of Strategic Communications at the Republican National Committee, I should say. Tommy, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on.
So, I mean, you have Comer calling for Kimberly Cheadle, the head of Secret Service, to testify before his committee a week from today. You have obviously a lot of questions surrounding the failure here, the eyewitness accounts that where people were pointing to shooter on the roof, and the combination of local police and Secret Service couldn't get their act together to stop him before he opened fire. And I just wonder, how much addressing the failure to provide proper security on Saturday will be part of the discussion at the convention. I mean, are there going to be calls for example, Kimberly Cheadle to step down?
Well, first of all, I just want to say that we're praying for the rally-goer who lost his life. We're praying for those who were injured in this heinous attack. There are going to be answers to what happened here. It's going to be part of that investigation. I think our focus here at the RNC is taking our cues from President Trump, who responded with such grace, with such love for America, and a call to unite America. And it's that call to unite America together after what happened that we're going to be focused on here, making sure that we act with love for our country, with unity and prayer, and really offer a solution for the American people to the problems that they're facing.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's yeah. And then we talked a bit earlier before you came on about his interview with the Washington Examiner and him sort of reconceiving his speech for Thursday night. I wonder if he is going to present himself tonight just to sort of pump his fist again and say, I'm okay and we're fighting on and let's, unify America and finish this thing?
Well, I don't want to get ahead of any possible schedule changes or any announcements that may or may not be happening, and but I would encourage people to tune in and watch to hear what all the speakers have to say, to watch the events that are happening here. I was really moved by many of the comments that he had in that Washington Examiner piece. One of the ones that really stuck with me was he was describing right after the shots rang out and why he got up and why he made those fist bumps, why he gestured to supporters. And he's saying that it was because he wanted to show people that he was okay, that America would go forward, and that America was strong.
Mm-hmm.
That strength and that unity is what he showed. It's what our focus here is going to be. So again, we're going to be acting through prayer. We're going to be acting with love of country, and we're going to be working towards a strong and a united America.
So is he going to be announcing his VP pick tonight?
Again, I would encourage people to tune in. I don't want to get ahead of any specific
I'm trying here, Tommy.
No spoiler alerts.
Well,
yeah,
then
right.
what about, okay, so then after the shooting, we learned shortly after that Nikki Haley was invited to the convention, and not only invited, but now she's going to be speaking. What day is she scheduled to speak?
Well, that'll be part of the process we're figuring out here. It's going to be, again, part of unity that is going to be the driving force. One of our main focuses here, uniting this country, coming together with love of country, with a plan for this country, making sure that we offer solutions to the American people, to the problem that they're facing. And it's that unity from all Americans, no matter what their political perspectives are, to come together, to unite, to make sure that we have a solution and a plan for this country, acting again out of love of country.
How does what happened on Saturday change the race? Because I mean, it beyond the obvious. So, for example, a lot of the discussion of replacing Biden has tamped down, and I think it's now even more likely than it was before that he remains the opponent for Trump in this election cycle. Does it inform or generate any reconsideration of the vice presidential pick, or is that locked in and unlikely to change? You know, I mean, there something as seminal as what happened on Saturday could have a lot of political reverberations that people aren't otherwise considering in the moment.
It's possible that it could. Ultimately, at a moment like this, politics is secondary. That we have to be first praying for the people that were, that the rally goer that was killed, the people who were injured in the attack, praying for President Trump, grateful that he's able to be here in Milwaukee to address the nation from Milwaukee. That's first and foremost. And again, the main focus isn't politics. It's about uniting the country and having that plan that was going to solve the problems that the American people are facing, unite people around a plan to make America great again. Strength and unity, that's going to be the focus. That's going to be the main motivations of the people here to make sure we have that plan for the American people.
And so what and does that message stick regardless of who his opponent is, say that Biden is replaced? I mean, is this is a complete focus, sort of John Wooden style, just worry about what we're supposed to do, don't worry about what they're doing? Is that where this is at now?
Well, from the beginning of these discussions that have happened around Joe Biden from the Democrat side of the aisle, the message from the RNC, the Trump campaign, has been that President Trump has that message to make America great again. That's the message that is going to win in November. That message is made more important with that desire to unite this country around solutions for this country, make a strong America. So no matter who they end up putting up on the Democrat side of the aisle, President Trump's message is going to be about making America great again, bringing this country together, uniting this country, bringing strength to America, strength to the American people, and bringing us together towards a better tomorrow.
We got a Wisconsin Supreme Court reversal last week, and they're allowing drop boxes again in Wisconsin because the composition of the state Supreme Court there changed. I wonder if during the convention there will be any sort of cri de coeur to the Trump loyalists around the country to say, you know, vote by mail, ballot integrity programs are super important. Here, there's intersection points. Go to this website, volunteer, help us in Wisconsin and you know other key states and so forth. That we are building the infrastructure. There's always room for more volunteers, and here's how you can help ensure that this is a free and fair election.
Most definitely, election integrity is one of the two fundamental pillars of the RNC. The other one being turning out the vote, and of course, fundraising to have the resources to do both of those things, protect the vote, turn out the vote. Americans can go to protectthevote.com to get involved, to volunteer. The RNC and the Trump campaign are building an unprecedented 100,000 person strong election integrity program this election. poll observers, poll watchers. We're engaged in legal actions across the country, close to 100 legal actions, to make sure that we're having the rules of the game that Americans want to see, where it's harder to cheat and easier to vote. We're going to keep engaging in those legal actions. We're going to keep on building that election integrity program that's unprecedented. Our chair and co-chair have been touring the country to get volunteers motivated and involved in this effort. So if anyone listening wants to get involved, they can go to protectthevote.com to learn more about those efforts, as well as sign up to join the team to make sure that we have that election integrity program in place in 2024.
Tommy Piggott, Director of Strategic Communications at the RNC. Tommy, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Finding the right dentist for you and your family, one that you can build trust and confidence in and develop a long-term relationship with, can be difficult. If consistency in your dental care done in a compassionate and caring environment is important to you, then here's someone you should meet.
Hi, I'm Dr. Phil Fidgel of Broadway Family Dental Group. We've been blessed to care for generations of families and make building strong relationships with our patients